Alright, so Cosmo says he's gonna figure his mic out and we can go ahead and start. So I guess I'll just start with mine. Um, right here in the morning on sober, kind of pulled in. We held this, pre-market low area, kind of resistance over here. We held it as support. I got long over here. We rode it up, and then we got dumped on. So I had the small win from the morning. We came down, on this big pullback, and then when I noticed we were at the pre-market lows, I actually jotted them down over here. I'll show you the screenshots. So this was the first play on sober, whatever you want to call it. We had this nice 5-minute flag here, low VPA. Buyers stepped in. We got a push into two, so that was a little 12% win in the morning. And then my second trade on sober was over here. I noticed that we pulled into our pre-market lows, which I had this, kind of demand area drawn out, and I noticed we were holding here. We were pulling in. The volume was diminishing, so I took my starter over here. We got a quick pop into VWAP that didn't really last. It kind of just popped the VWAP and flushed right back down. So I got out for a nice 5% win there. Then I remember when we came back in, I seen, okay, we're coming in on high volume, but buyers are starting to show up here. I got long again here. I scalped the range. And then when we actually came back down and we kind of put in like these higher lows, so we had these two same lows here, and we kind of had that higher low here. I got long in this area. I had 180 average, so it would have been somewhere right. Why is this not working? Somewhere right here, 180s. And I actually left. I went about my day, and my phone started blowing up because me and my friends were in this. And they're like, "Yo, Saber's running, it's going." And so I opened my phone. We are up 36%, I believe, and I posted that over here. So we are up 36% on this move. I got long over here. Caught the quick pop. I exited full at, I believe, $2.36. And then towards the end of the day, we got the downtrend break off that move. So we had this move higher right here. And then we just started, consolidating, coming down. And then literally towards the close, I noticed that we were trying to break the downtrend. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm watching the Saber downtrend break here off VWAP. I noticed we were holding over VWAP here. I know Javi was in chat. He was all over it. And then as soon as we broke VWAP, I got long 218 right here. We got the pullback into 214, which was, I considered it as the retest of the downtrend line. Then we got the nice move into 240s. And then I was scaling off, in the 230s, 240s. I had a small piece left. And then that's when Mikey noticed this 5-minute flag right here. Great VPA. Shout out Mikey for that, because that actually allowed me to stay in the trade longer. And so, we had our volumes, or not our volume stick, sorry. We had our candlestick, which was our pull, formed a nice 5-minute flag here. Buyers stepped in towards the end, ramped us from the 228 pivot area, which we were holding, and we caught new highs, and I actually exited my last piece. I believe it was 268, somewhere around this area. So I didn't catch the top, but overall, Saber was like my moneymaker today. I played this name so many times today. So those are like my 4 or 5 trades on Saber. I had the downtrend break right here, which I was looking at. See how we came down and retested it, and that's when I called it out in the Goblin Gang. And then so those are a majority of the trades on Saber. I'm trying to see what else I had screenshotted throughout the day. Oh yeah, that was the end of day move. And then so before I go to the next one, did anyone play Saber as well? Like, did anyone catch any move out of this? Negative. All right. Then I noticed Mikey was on this flag over here, right over here, 5-minute flag. VPA was really, really nice. And on this one, I got long at 966, so it would have been right over here in this area. We did dip down into 930s, and like honestly, when it dipped down to 930s, I wasn't even looking at this chart. I believe I was looking at APRN off Bofo's call out. And as soon as I came back to PEPG, we just freaking popped. And I remember I did not catch this whole move. I didn't even get to scale out anything up here. I was literally drip selling. I had smaller size because I was just taking a call out, so I was literally just drip selling into this pop, and I got my last piece off right over here at 1043. So right when we broke this pivot, we kind of extended. and that's when I was able to get my last piece off. And then I was like, oh shit, this thing just pulled a huge move higher. Then we ended up coming down, and someone in chat actually said Pep G trying to flag. So I noticed this 1 minute flag setup over here, and when I noticed this setup, I actually got long at 11:21. So I believe it was, where was that setup actually? I had a screenshot of it. I'm gonna pull it up. Should be one of these. Where's it at? Where's it at? I know I sent it in the chat. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna look for it. Yeah, right over here. So can I drag this to my desktop? 1 second. So sorry, guys. So then we had this flag over here. So we had to move higher. I got long, I believe 11:21 area, and we got a quick pop into like 11:40s. I scaled majority off over here into the move at 11:40. Oh, that's not the tool I wanted. I scaled majority off on the second move into 11:40. Then we got stuffed, and I actually gave back some profits from this move and from this move. So I kind of exited it and kind of just kept the profits from the first move. Overall, great trade. I thought we would open up a little more, considering the fact that everyone who kind of missed this move, they're all gonna come and try to get a piece of the pie now. And like looking at it now, I could have had a better average. I could have waited for VWAP dips, like even right here. Could have got 1037, rode into 11s. So those are my two trades on PepG. Then I know there was more for the day. Saber was my.
Did you do any trades on BIAF?
You said BIF?
BIAF.
BIAF.
Runner and sold off the rest of the day, but there were some small pops in there.
Oh, BIAF. I don't think I actually got to catch this one. Oh no, I didn't catch this one. That's actually So I remember in the pre-market I had my everything drawn out, and when we made this move higher, I was like, all right, we're probably gonna sell off in the open. And I remember everyone in the morning in Goblin Gang, they're all like, oh, this is gonna break four. Well, it was that one guy who was like, oh, this is gonna break four and whatever, and we did break four, and we extended. But no, I just felt like this was, I wasn't comfortable playing it. And especially like getting long right here and holding into the bell, it's not really something I'm comfortable with doing. So I didn't touch this one, no, but I did see like we did come down here, we did get a few pops, but overall I did not get to play this one. Did you play this one?
Yeah, I did those later pops. I mean, they were small 10, 15 cent gains, but there was a few of them that I caught for some small gains. Specifically around like 10:45 my time.
Yeah.
It's 12:45 your time. Right around the 3 mark.
12:45.
I mean, it was incredibly challenging, I thought, and
Yeah.
I have a problem where I'm trying to stay focused on a couple tickers throughout the day,
Yeah.
and like I totally missed Pep G, because I'm trying to stay disciplined with the tickers that I'm trying to focus on during the day. What are some things that you primarily look at, um, when you're kind of
So like for me,
looking around for ticker to ticker? Like what gets your interest? Is it just volume? Is it price action? Is it
it's like volume, of course. Like you need volume to get it moving. That's
Yeah, yep.
100%. Normally what I like to do, like if I'm gonna play a name like this, like I'll look at it, I'll be like, okay, we had our move in pre-market. I'm not gonna chase it. We were all the way down here in the twos. Now we're up at fours. I'm not chasing it. And usually the names that pump like this in the morning, they usually sell off. But like mainly what I'm looking for is pivot holds. I'm looking for like any kind of patterns. So I'll give you an example. So I'm looking. So I have a strategy, EMA 9 times VWAP. It's on my YouTube, so I'll look for setups
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
no, I watched that. Yep,
Yeah, and then like I'll look
that's a
for
great video.
3 to 5 minute flags in the low descending volume, even 10-minute flags. Another thing I'll look for is like, for example, right here, resistance turning into support. Like I should have noticed this, but I don't know. I guess I didn't. So I'll look for like resistance turning into support, and then overall just chart patterns like symmetrical triangles, ascending triangles, flags, falling wedges. Anything that can provide an easy to identify risk. And like obviously it's a bullish pattern, because why would you get long on a pattern that's bearish? So those are some
Mm-hmm.
of the main things that I look for. I don't really like, if I don't see a pattern or like a flag or like a low volume pullback into a pivot. Like let's say the stock did this. So let's say we had this pivot, whatever. Um, say we came up, whatever, we came down, we held this line, we consolidate for a second, we move up, we come down, then this would be our resistance that's turning into support now. So let's say we got a low volume pullback into this area. Let's say the volume looks like this, and then we start having that low volume pullback into that pivot. This is a
Mm-hmm.
pivot I'll get long on. Why? Because one, we have our low volume, and then also it was a previous resistance point that's now turning into support. And then obviously, you want to look at the tape, make sure there's bidders over here, and then, you get long. Either you fail it and high volume selling comes in, or you simply bounce off of it and start creating new highs. So it's like I gotta see something that will give me a higher probability of a winning trade. So if I see a
Yeah.
bear flag, I'm not gonna get long on a bear flag. But if I see a bull flag, of course you're gonna get long. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like normally that's the case for me, but I feel like, man, these past few months it's just been like what the market's been doing is like the opposite. I feel like there's been, at least in my experience, there's been a number of bear flags that just turn, into this monster run.
yeah, I
You know what I
agree.
mean? And a number of bull
You
flags
had
that are
that.
just selling off, and it's just, you know once BIAF broke, initially broke that 303 mark, um, I knew, at least in my opinion, I thought it wasn't going to run the rest of the day, but I still was focused on it, and I did catch two or three times, because my particular edge just happens to be from a sell off, into basically a reversal,
Yeah,
and so I gotta, unfortunately, it's difficult for me to really have an edge when it comes to, when it's not basically a reversal.
yeah. So like for example, like to give you a better example of like what I'll look for. So we had this nice consolidation right here, right? Nice bull flag, and I actually played this one right over here. See, we had our nice flag pull, nice bull flag right here. Then if you notice the
Mm-hmm.
volume, it went like, sure, this was high selling. Then the volume dipped down, and we were clearly holding our support. Our EMAs also lined up with it, and I got long right here at, I believe it was 174 ish. Caught the quick pop, and I was out. The reason I knew to get out was let me see if I can erase these. So if you look left,
So
we had
where was your
this.
entry on that?
My entry was, let me check my orders, but I'm like 100% sure it was 174.
Gotcha. Nice.
Saber. Today's the 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah, my entry was 176 actually. So it would have been 176, like right over here. And then as soon as we got this quick move up, I noticed, like I put on the chart, we had buyers step in from a low volume pullback on the 5 minute flag. Buyers stepped in. We got the quick move to two, and I knew to get out because looking left, we had this, upper wick right here, and that usually
Yeah.
indicates heavy selling. So this is one flag that I'll play any day, 100%. Then another trade
Is
that
that is that the hourly, or is that, what chart is that?
this is the 5 minute chart.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So this is basically a Mikey setup, 5 minute flag setup. Low VPA pullback, and you get that move higher. So I knew to exit
Oh,
right
was that
here.
was this just a screenshot from this morning? Is
Yeah,
that why
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
more? Yeah, gotcha,
Yeah, yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why there's no extra data. Like I've been doing the thing that Mikey was talking about on the live. So whenever I get a winner, I made this like uh this little folder right here that's called winners,
Oh,
and I'll just
nice.
start screenshotting it and I'll jot some notes down on it real quick and I'll save it there. So that was one of the plays that I had. And then my next play on Saber, I'll just go over it really, really quickly to give you a better idea of like what I'm looking for is okay, so we had that move higher. I missed this majority of this move. I kind of got a little bit of a scale out here, but that was already in pre-market. So I missed the majority of the open move, and then I was like, all right, let's see where we get the pullback. I remember I did try some off VWAP right here. Ended up stopping out right here at I believe it was like 190 from $2. And I was like, all right, let's be patient. Let's see if we can come down and test these pre-market lows. And that's what we did. We came right back into our area over here, and you could see that we held very nicely. And when we held, I was like, okay, we got descending volume coming into the support area, exactly what you want to see. Buyers started stepping in right here. The times and sales right here was lighting up with some buyers. So I was like, okay, let's get long right here. I believe I got long again at like 174. We got a quick like those moves that are like quick like this and come right back down like it's just a tick.
Yes.
That was this move right here. So when I seen that, I was like, okay, cool. I'm taking the scalp, and I got out. Then I don't have the rest screenshotted, but I'll walk you through them real quick. So and then again on Saber, whatever. I noticed how this area was firming up. Let me screenshot it so I can draw on it.
Gotcha.
I noticed how this area was firming up, and so what I did was I tried the pivot again, and I actually played the range one more time. And I was on live with my buddies, and we were literally talking about like, okay, firming up, firming up, firming up, and then we started creating those higher lows right here. So I caught
Yeah.
this, I caught this dip ad right here, low VPA into the support area again. Buyer stepped in right here. We got this quick pop up here into the 190s. I got out completely again. So this was one trade, this was two trade, this was three trades. And then right over here, I noticed that me and my buddies on the live, like, okay, we broke over, we're on the 1 minute, whatever. We're holding over this area now. We started creating, these little higher lows. I'm gonna get long. So I got long right here at, I believe it was 180. Looking at my orders right now. Saber, yeah, it was 184. So I got long somewhere at 184 in this area. And then when I got long, I didn't see this move. However, I had went to the gym already, so I was in the gym actually, and my buddy started texting me, "Hey, Saber's moving, go take profit," and I go take profit, and I was able to catch a 36% win off of it. I actually
Damn.
posted on my Twitter. See, I got the
Damn.
ads down here, got the quick pop, and I was able to capitalize 36% on that play. So I was really happy with that. And then moving forward later in the day, I noticed that we got this downtrend break. Oh shit. So I noticed that we got this downtrend break here, and this is the one I actually called out in Goblin Gang. So we have our downtrend. Volume is kind of getting more like you see how the volume's heavy, and then it's slowly diminishing. I
Yeah.
noticed we were firming up on VWAP. VWAP is always a great place to buy dips. More than likely, it'll bounce off.
Yep.
So that's another high probability setup that you could take. And then I noticed that there was, I forgot who it was, but it was just someone in the stock chat and Goblin Gang. They were talking about, Saber looks like it's going to make a move. So I pulled up the Saber chart, I plotted this line real quick. And I'm like, okay, yeah, shit, we're about to break the downtrend. So as soon as we break the downtrend, I got long right here at 218. We pulled back in, and we got our retest of our downtrend on low volume right over here. Volume kind of came down. And then right when that happened, as soon as I called it out, I don't know if it was because I called it out or if there were people around the world waiting for it. But then we got this sick move up into 240 area. I was peeling off profits. And then thanks to Mikey actually pointed out this 5 minute flag right here.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah.
VPA, descending volume. So Mikey actually gave me the confidence to still hold the piece in the position. And then, I mean, the volume tells the story. Low volume pullback into our 228 area pivot right over here. And then bam, buyers stepped in. How do I get rid of that ruler? Whatever, I'll just put it to the side. So buyer stepped in. We got the quick ramp, and we literally extended all the way into 270s. All I was looking for, and I put it in the Goblin Gang. I was looking for 250s. I was looking for this area to take my final piece, but it moved so quick, and I believe I got majority of my shares off at like 260. I was happy with it. So like
Damn.
that's
That's a
another.
nice trade, man. And if
Yeah,
you look at the 10 minute on that too, I mean, the volume all day just like was descending. Is
yeah, exactly.
kind of crazy. And I noticed that. I mean, you can notice the wedge or the flag, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
forming like the entire day.
yeah.
But
Look at this
I
flag too on the 10 minute. Really clean. Low VPA pullback, and then bam, right into the EMA,
yeah,
right
like
into the
look at that volume, man. It
227K.
just like descends like like
Yeah, I agree.
it's
Yeah,
nuts.
this was really clean. So I
I
feel
just, for me, I've just been like getting duped so much in these past like half a year that like when I see something like this, it looks too obvious to me. Like it looks too good, and like
yeah,
that's what's preventing me because I'm like, nah, dude, this thing is, it's too perfectly setting up. Like it's gonna fail, and
yeah.
then I don't,
It
you
doesn't
know,
catch. I mean, it like so another reason why like remember when Mikey said in that one video, you see the setup, you just gotta take it. And I remember we actually talked
yes,
about it too. We said, oh, you'll see this setup one day, it'll fail. Then the next day you see the setup and it'll put in a 10%, 5% lag or even more. And like this is a perfect
yeah,
example. You see these setups, you just gotta manage your risk. Like Mark Douglas says, you gotta figure out your risk. Are you willing to risk $100 to see if the trade works out or not? And
yeah,
if it's a
yeah.
high probability setup, like man, this volume was so clean, and then bam, we got the move higher. So I mean, those are my trades on Saber. I see Cosmo said that he actually played Saber as well. Gonna pull this up.
I think I got my mic working now too.
Oh, nice, perfect, nice. Yeah, we hear you.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I took it at the open. Um, it was my entry.
Is that cosmic?
Yeah.
You just had a daughter, didn't you?
No, that must have been someone
no,
else.
no, that's Cosmic Corn Dog. This is Cosmo.
Oh, Cosmo. I thought you said cosmic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was gonna be like, damn, dude, you're dedicated.
So I see nice little flag off the open right here. Is that
Actually, yeah, I was confused. I took BIAF right at the open, and this was my second trade of the day, I think. Um,
okay? Let me pull up BIAF. We'll go over that one, then we'll come back to this one.
but yeah, I took both of them like back to back, basically. Um,
So where'd you enter on BIAF?
BIAF, I got the first flag right at 383, right after that first red candle.
Okay, so let me lower the time frame to a 3 minute. Oops, zoomed in too far. So 383s would be somewhere right here. So I'm assuming it was this flag.
Yeah, but I'm on the 5 minute.
Oh,
You got the
okay,
3 minute
sorry,
there.
sorry.
Yeah, so I entered on the green candle, then it opened, it popped to 409. I was trying to get new highs out of it, so I didn't take any profits at all on that.
Yeah, and then you
Um,
just
and then the following candle, I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna break even on this because it already rejected once. So, and then it rejected the second time, and then it came back to my stop, so I just stopped out there. But then I re-entered it because after that other hammer candle that held VWAP, I got back in. I don't know why I got back in on that. Um, and then I took an L on that one.
yeah. I mean, I see
Like I'm
here,
okay with the first
you
entry, but the second entry is like, yeah,
yeah, I see that you held the. Oh shoot! I wanted to screenshot the volume as well because I wanted to point something out to you actually.
okay,
Something that I just like noticed. So like on this one, like I see why you entered. You had your pivot right here. You were holding. Then ultimately it just didn't work out. But something that I noticed like looking back at it now, and obviously it's easier, when the charts all said and done. But you got one big stick. Then you see this buying stick, how it's like really, it's way lower.
yeah,
And then you see the next one right after. how it's higher
Yeah,
right over here. That's
Mm.
something you got to pay attention to. Because, like,
yeah, definitely.
for me to think that this was going to make new highs, I would want to see this candle come up all the way over here. Obviously defeat the sellers. And then I want to see like a low volume pullback into a pivot. And then this candle I want to see like extend. Like, look at this candle. Huge. The opening drive candle. So
Yeah,
I think like it's not a bad position. I mean, you were playing off a pivot. It was great. You were looking for new highs. Your flag setup was there. It was clean. But ultimately, there was just more sellers than buyers, and the sellers overpowered the buyers, and that's why you just gotta read volume. You gotta look at these little things because volume tells the whole story, man.
yeah. So off
Yeah,
that
those,
first entry, like where are you cutting it? Like, are you just once you see that reject of 409, are you just cutting it there and you're not even
So
waiting for the
for
second
me,
candle?
I would have seen this right here. So first for me, I wouldn't have played this, and I already said why I wouldn't have because I felt like it was like too extended. So like a rule of
Yeah,
thumb for me is, okay, we're here at $2. At the open, we're up here at $4.
yeah,
In my opinion, already, like sure, there's been times where it can go from 4, then to 8, then to 12. But from my past experience, if it's already extended like this, I'm just not gonna touch it because whoever was already in at 2, they're not holding at 4 praying for the moon. They're taking their profits, and volume clearly indicates that.
yeah,
So that's something for me. If the stock is really extended like that, I won't play it. But let's say, on the open, we got a nice pullback into like 340s. We consolidated. Then, we started doing something. Yeah, I probably would have played it. But the fact that right at the open, we made a higher move and, we started pushing higher, I already know there's going to be profit taking. But if I was in this position, I would have seen like, okay, we have this flat bottom support here. We have this flat top resistance up here. Obviously you're going to try to add as close as you can to support. That's the name of the game. Buy as close as you can to support. And how do I? Yeah, there we go. And so something that I would have done, I would have noticed my indicators right here. So I would have tried to get a dip. I wouldn't have tried to enter over here. I would have said, okay, let me get like a 1 minute quick stuff candle, and we bring it back up, or let me see if we can get down to my EMAs and my VWAP and start consolidating for a second before trying for the next leg. Because normally if stock went up, consolidated for a second, went up higher, and it was like straight up, more than likely it's gonna do exactly what it did.
yeah.
Anything that's 45 degrees, like at an angle, it's gonna take the elevator up, and it's gonna take the elevator right back down. So that's like a rule
Right.
of thumb for me. Um, so yeah, I would have, like, if I was actually trying to play this, I would have been like, okay, we got this little downtrend. We're trying to hold this pivot. I probably would have got long off the pre-market high pivot because that's something I actually love doing. So I probably would have entered here, and overall, buyers just simply stuffed it, and I'm sorry, sellers just they stuffed it, and sellers were heavier than buyers on in the morning, and so it didn't work out.
Gotcha. Um, and yeah, the sober play I posted in the chat.
Yeah, let me pull
I
the.
scaled half of it at high day, and I think it broke even on the rest, or just about break even. I think.
So where did you get long on sober?
Let me see here. So I entered at 183,
Okay, so that'd be right over here.
and
Oh,
then
it's
I cut it at the
pullback.
top of the flagpole.
Yeah.
205. I cut half of it there, and then I stopped out on the rest around 190.
Okay, yeah,
But
no, clean play.
I'm okay with the scale, with the first scale, but like at the 190, like there was still a 1 minute flag. I'm not sure. I don't know why I cut it there.
Let me look at it on the 1 minute. Yeah, I see right here. You moved up and tried flagging right here. Tried to curl up, but that just falls again on the volume. Because you
Yeah,
see how volume started. So like, look, you went from bullish, like I don't know what the hell this was. It probably wicked up and came right back down. But you're bullish. A bunch of buyers. And then look at the red candles. They start accumulating. You got bearish, bullish. Or I'm sorry, bullish, bearish. So the heartbeat is slowly going from a bullish heartbeat to a bearish heartbeat. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened here. You see, tried making the move higher. Then again, sellers just stepped in and they, took it down. And I would have played it up here. And honestly, I did. I tried playing it off the VWAP here and I got stuffed right here. And I actually stopped out at 195. And that's when I was like, all right, let me hang out for a second. So I actually did like lose on this position as well. And then, I noticed the pre-market lows, and I love playing pre-market lows. And Sober was my moneymaker today, man. Sober was great to me today. I played this range like 3 times. I caught this move, and then I caught the downtrend break into this move. So
Yeah,
Sober,
I didn't really trade anything after 10:30. I just decided to eat the L on the day, so I missed a lot of that
yeah.
action.
Is that normally like, are you in the mindset of, okay, hey, I'm red, time to just move on with my day?
Not really, but I was like twice as red as I was yesterday, so I was like,
Okay.
okay.
So I feel you. Yeah, you don't want that past trade to, influence your next trade. So I hear you there.
Yeah,
Yeah, those were. I mean, yeah, I lost on this one too. I thought we were gonna pull back in and eventually squeeze to new highs, but that was later in the day, and that's actually something that I've been noticing that has been happening lately. So like the names will run in the morning and then they'll dump down, and then coming into the afternoon, coming out of lunch, they'll start squeezing and doing whatever they want to do. But this was great to me. This pre-market low.
yeah.
Did anyone else play Sober? Nobody. North played Netflix.
Hey, can we real quick look at BTRS?
Yeah, definitely.
It's I just had a question because it's it's just it's basically just bullshit. I mean, like this thing popped what 60 or so %, but then
Yeah,
it's like it barcoded like the entire
yeah.
day, and
This is a
it's just like
buyout. Whenever
what is going?
whenever you see a chart, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but whenever you see a
No,
chart
sorry.
like do this and then just do this, like I'm sure if I click on the news, uh, yeah, 1.7 billion takeover acquired for 1 point. Yeah, so this is a buyout. So normally when you see the moves like this and then they just trade sideways all day, this is a company that got bought out. So they were at 5. They got an offer on it, and they actually bought it out for $9, 50 shares in cash. You can see that right here. Let me show you that right here. BTRS holding shares are trading higher after the company agreed to be acquired by EQTX Fund for 1.7 billion or 950 per share in cash.
But I mean, how the thing, at least in on what I'm seeing, it had 75 million in volume. I mean, I don't understand how it can literally just stay
That
in
would
a
be
whatever tiny range like that with
yeah,
75 million shares being traded.
that would probably be the bigger money. Like I'm sure, when they bought the company out, they, acquired so many shares, obviously caused the gap up, and then they had the buyout here, and I'm sure there were some people that ended up buying over here and stuff, but like usually if it's a buyout, I just don't touch it because normally buyouts they're not gonna do anything. They're either
Yeah.
gonna dump or they're gonna do exactly this, just consolidate all day long, and that's exactly what this is
Yeah,
doing.
I didn't spend much time on it, but like I kept checking on it because it's just like, man, it's just crazy with all that volume, and the thing just it does nothing, and it just seems like it's kind of like a trick. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
if
Like it's not.
if this
But
was
any
regular,
buyout is going to be capped like that. It's just they know what a fixed price is going to be, so it's not going to go any higher because someone's already
yeah,
offered it at a particular price. So maybe the buyout will fail when people think they're going to buy something, but the buyout won't go through. But
Yeah.
generally, I agree. We just stay away from them. There's no edge there.
Yeah.
yeah, like unless
It's just
volume
crazy.
starts,
75 million
Yeah,
volume was
yeah.
like another thing that really got my attention. But
yeah,
I'll
once
just
I
change
saw the
hands.
barcode, dude, it was like I'm not. There's
yeah,
nothing
not
there for
wasting
me,
time.
man.
Yeah. Did anyone else play anything? I'm looking at my orders right now to see if I trade anything else. Oh yeah, I did trade iLag at the bell. I had this
Uh,
zone drawn out on iLag. We came down into the zone. Right over here, I believe it was like 245s. I got long right here, and when we tried to reclaim, ended up getting stuffed on it into 237. So I just cut it, and I see that. Oh no, that was actually over here. So we came down into the zone. I got long, I believe, somewhere right here, 245. We ended up getting stuffed. I stopped out, and then wow, okay, I like actually put in a leg, nice. So wish I was still in it, but yeah, I stopped out of this one with
Yeah.
a small L.
Same thing with me with APRN, man. I swung some from yesterday after hours. I bought in at 5, I think it was like 512. And then this morning, man, I'm just watching. I'd planned on swinging it for a couple days, and I, just didn't have the discipline. Uh, I did sell ultimately for a small gain, but that morning sell off just really shook
Yeah,
me.
exactly. That's a great reason why I don't like adding in the morning either. Cause like, look how crazy this is, man. From 528 all the way to 498 in just a few candles. Like the opening volatility is crazy on some of these names. So yeah, no, I mean you got some solid ads that ended up, slow grinder all day. I'm sure this one was really quiet. And then I know Bofo played this 5 minute flag. I actually played it with him. I was in too many names at the time. I got long at 610. I sold out of everything. I believe at it was 615, and that was just because I felt like I was like doing too much. Towards the end of the day, I was like,
Yeah,
hey, let me chill out. And so, but wow, yeah, great
yeah.
moves, great moves.
It's crazy how you can just once this thing broke 550, it like at least I was watching it pretty closely. It just it was just screaming that this thing was not gonna back down, man.
Yeah,
And I was just so bitter that I couldn't get it out of my head uh, to get back in. But
Well, I
yeah,
hear you. It makes you trigger shy. I was the same way today. That didn't really have faith in much, to be honest. I was waiting at
yeah.
any moment for it to
I thought the
collapse again.
morning, I thought the morning was trash, and things just started heating up. But something I just noticed on APRN right now, actually, nice 5 minute flag right here. Descending
yeah,
VPA, broke through that
oh yeah,
550,
yeah,
put in that nice leg through 550 right here on these two volume candles. Another low VPA pullback, kind of flagged again right here, and then the volume came in ramping, and that's when you got this leg. And then look at this. Wow, okay. Another 5 minute flag right here. You guys see that?
yep.
Yeah.
That's got volume kind of.
Yeah, the
Oh no.
volume is not the greatest. I'm gonna agree with that, but I kind of see the 5 minute flag setup right here. You got your flag pull. So you do have the 5 minute setup, but the VPA there just I don't think it was the greatest. Then you
So
just start.
what's the idea with the VPA with the volume kind of pulling off? I mean, when a red candle is dwindling, I understand that, but just as a whole, when volume's kind of diminishing at a flag point, I mean, why? What is the idea behind that is such a consistently positive thing?
So a bull flag in like particular is a bullish continuation pattern. So you got your
Yeah,
first lag, you
I
have your
just
bull
I just meant like
flag.
the volume aspect of it, like with the flag, like
So when
when
you're pulling in, so you see how we these are three red candles, right? You see how we're
yeah.
pulling into our support area, which in this case would be our EMA and also our 540 area pivot.
Hmm.
You want to see the volume anytime you're coming into a support level or a key level. For example, when we broke over this, you always want to see the selling lighten up. So if we had, let's
Yeah,
say this candle was big red, then this candle was huge red, and then this one was way bigger, this bull flag would have just failed. We would have broke the support
sure.
and cracked it. And so the reason why you want to see low volume is because you pull into a pivot, other traders are going to be like, okay, we're pulling into a pivot on low volume. Now you're going to look for buyers to come in. And the way you look for buyers to come in, you have your tape, whatever, you have your bid, your ask, and then you're going to see, okay, we got buyers here, sellers are up here. Let's see if we could start chipping on the seller side so they can start, trying to sell for higher. Bidders start bidding it up. Then you get that move up and buyers start stepping in. I don't know if that
So
kind of
even
answers the
even
question for
even
you.
with like green candles too, because I noticed, it's not always just red. when the volume's kind of diminishing. They'll be green too, and that's
Yeah,
kind of like I totally. That was a good explanation. I appreciate you explaining that. I totally grasp that idea, but when the VPA, with the flag, sometimes it's also you know buying that's going on, but it's you know. So I guess I don't I
But
guess
if I can
fully.
add something, I think Salah, you could probably say it better than I can, but I think when it's green though, if the candle is really far extended, then it's not a low risk entry, right? There's a lot of buying going on, so you're just FOMOing into it often. So that's
yeah, no,
why
that
at
makes
the
sense.
pullback on the bull flag where it's low volume, it's a lower risk.
And another thing, you don't want to see like high ramping volume into a pivot area, because like I said, if you see high, volume into a pivot, there's a higher probability that you're not going to hold the pivot and you're going to end up coming down. Whereas if you have a low volume pullback into a pivot, there's a higher probability of other traders around the world seeing it and saying, okay, low volume pullback into a pivot. Like even if you didn't know this was a bear flag, like even if you didn't notice this and you were just looking at volume, okay, we had high volume on the break of a pivot or a resistance area, sorry. Now we're getting low volume. So normally in any stock, when you break above a resistance point, so let's say we're trading this our resistance, we come down, whatever, like 9 times out of 10, when you break through a resistance point, there's always going to be that retest to confirm that previous resistance as support. That's basic
Hmm.
support and resistance. And when you come in to test that previous resistance to test it as support, you want to see a low volume pullback, and it falls back to that first explanation of, okay, we broke through our resistance, but if we get a high volume sell off, we're just going to fall through. Whereas if we have our resistance point and we break through and then we get a low volume pullback into our previous resistance and hold it as support, more than likely it's going to be a low volume pullback into support. That's going to kind of, I guess you could say, confirm the area as support. And another reason why it will confirm the area as support is because you'll see buyers are willing to step in at that new support level, and this volume stick right here obviously shows that. So I'll walk you through that one more time over here on the actual chart. So we have the high volume push through our resistance area. We come up, we form our new resistance point, and then as we pull back, we're pulling back on lower volume. When we get as close as we can to that 540 area pivot, buyers start coming in, market moves
Hmm.
higher. Now this area is confirmed as support. So we just turned our previous resistance into new support. Same thing over here. So you see how we broke over 550 here on high volume, and then when we pulled
Yeah.
in to test 550 as support, we pulled in on lower volume, and you could see we had one selling candle. Even this stuff candle was relatively low compared, like look at this, it was relatively low compared to the buying candle that broke above
Sure. Yeah.
550. Excuse me. So when we pulled in, sellers were very light. Buyers seen that as an opportunity. Okay, previous resistance, we should hold as new support. Buyers were comfortable to step in. Why? Because this obviously, it gave them a low risk opportunity to enter the market and get in on the trend. So traders noticed that. Traders started buying up. We now confirm our previous resistance as our new support. Market moves higher. Does that kind of explain it for you?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Like here, I want to show you, I know a perfect example of one that obviously didn't work out. So right here
I mean
on
that was. Sorry. Go ahead.
so on LVTX, you could see, okay, we had our grind up, right? So we grinded up. Shit, where'd that go? Oh, right here. So I want to make it bigger so you guys can see it. So you can see on LVTX, we started grinding up, right? We broke over our VWAP on high volume, but then when we pulled in to confirm our VWAP as support, which was previous resistance, traders were saying, okay, let's wait for the pullback, because you never want to buy on the huge green candle. You always want to wait for a pullback so it can give you a low risk opportunity to enter the market. So if you look at this pullback, you can see right away, as soon as we start pulling back, look at the volume. Big sellers, big sellers, big sellers, big sellers. So what does this do? This does not confirm VWAP as support. buyers weren't willing to step in, and I'm sure they weren't willing to step in because of the move up. It was so parabolic. The move
Mm-hmm.
down is going to be the same. So you could see how, in relation to the other chart, um, you could, in the relation to the other chart, you could see how when we broke the level, we pulled back on light volume, confirmed that level as support, continued higher, then pulled back in and confirmed this new level as support. Whereas right here, right when we broke it, sellers automatically started taking their profits, and we couldn't get a confirmation of support, so therefore there's no reason to enter the market.
Mm-hmm.
Does that kind of cover it for you?
Yeah. I'm just the only thing, I totally get the, like the pretty much everything you said, and I guess it was just kind of the question of even just that the green volume kind of being lower into into a pivot point. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of just the question
Yes.
of
So when you're
of
pulling in, you want to see light volume, because if you're coming into a pivot with high selling pressure, you're
well,
more
I'm
than
saying
likely going to
buying.
break it.
Like
Yeah,
buying.
exactly. Like if you come into a pivot, and so normally the volume sticks, they're just going to represent whatever the candle is doing. So like for example, people can be buying up this candle, however it's a
And,
red candle, so the volume stick is
mhm,
going to indicate it as red. But
gotcha.
like trying to think of another way to like put it really quickly, like whenever you're coming into a pivot, you want to see low volume, whether it's buying or selling. Obviously, you want to see more buyers step in, and that's where you can have advanced studies like this, for example. I'll put this real quick. So that's where you can have advanced studies like this. So these are actually the Ripster volume labels, and you can see, okay, we're pulling into our pivot. There's minimal selling, and there's a lot of people buying. We're on the next candle, same thing. Minimal selling, a lot of people buying. Next one, all
Totally.
selling, but then right after, we get buyers that step in, and then you can see right here on the move higher, there was less selling and there was more buying. So that's like where it can get more advanced. But more than
Totally.
likely, you just want to see a low volume pullback into support, and then when you get as close as you can to the support area, you want to see the buyers, start stepping in.
Yeah.
You're
Is that
saying, but even there could be balance between the two, right? There's balance between the buyers and the sellers at that
And th-
time.
that's what
So
would give
that
you
could lead to a bigger
consolidation.
move. The compression is over, and then all of a sudden it expands. If there's no high selling, no high buying, it could go either way. But if it's trending up for the day, most likely it's going to keep going.
Exactly. And another point to add on to what you just said, when there's a balance between buyers and sellers, you're going to get consolidation like this. Buyers and sellers are kind of at a battle
totally?
until someone takes it over, which in this case, it was the buyers that stepped in and overpowered the sellers.
It's kind of hard to hear. I don't know who's what that noise is.
Oh, that was, I don't know who. I'll say it again though. So, to add on to
Thank
this
you.
point that he just made, when the volume is kind of like the buyers and sellers right over here, how they're kind of the same, you're going to
Yeah.
see consolidation like this. And you're going to see consolidation until either the buyers or the sellers overpower the other side. So in this case, sure, we were consolidating, but if a big seller started walking in, or there was just more sellers than buyers, we would have ended up coming down. But in this case, looking at the volume, yeah, they were kind of the same, which caused this consolidation phase. But then when we started, poking up to our VWAP, you could see buyers started slapping it, and so buyers took control of it.
Gotcha.
Even right here, you can kind of see right over here, buyers and sellers were kind of at a standstill until buyers really stepped in over here and like, all right, screw you sellers, we're going to take this market higher. And that's exactly what happened. And even though you see this red candle, like I said, it just replicates, whatever candle is on the chart. Whereas it looks red, looks like it's full of selling, but then you go to an advanced study and you can clearly see that on this candle it was kind of actually even, and that's where you got your doji that indicates an indecision in the market. Then right
Yeah.
after the doji, you could see heavy buying, and that indicates, okay, this is a positive, strong trend up, and then you get your
Yeah.
follow through move.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean the volume pullback can definitely be tricky. at times,
Definitely.
but when it's specifically around a pivot, that definitely helps a
The
lot.
easy way to put it is like when you're coming into a pivot, you want to see low selling. You want to see bidders already ready
Yeah,
over there, and you want to
totally.
see low selling into it. Um, and
Totally.
another thing, it's kind of harder to explain, but when you're in the moment looking at these things, it's like way like it's like second nature, like to a point where okay, I'm looking at it, I know what I'm looking for, but then when I try to explain it, I like you can't really explain it the best. So the best thing that I can advise you to do is, have you ever read Volume Price Analysis by Anna Coling?
I've started to. I haven't gotten the whole thing
You have to.
done, but it's definitely something that you know, and even noticing like with this, and we were looking at the other ticket might have been sober this morning, but I see these three after the big pop there. There's those three kind of stand outish green candles of volume
Yeah.
past there to the right,
Oh,
a little
okay. So
further.
right over here,
Yeah, like those right after the morning pop.
right after the morning pop. Okay, hold on. So we get our
Yeah,
morning
like
pop, we come down.
right there,
Okay,
back a
yeah,
little.
yeah, yeah.
That first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. Those just stick out to me as as accumulation for me personally.
And
And on the other
honestly,
ticker,
they did
it
for me
was a
as well.
similar thing. Sorry, what's
No,
that?
I was just saying they did for me as well. That's why I was like kind of confident in scalping the range and then trying to build a core into it. Because when I seen this pop, I was like, huh, all right, someone's loading. Then we came down,
Yeah,
the selling was so light. Then we get another pop. And then I'm like, okay, someone's loading again. I sold on the pop. And then we get the third one. I'm like, okay, yeah, someone's definitely trying to build a core here. I'm gonna follow
yeah,
this.
yeah. And then if we looked at sober real quick, there's those three that stuck out to me as kind of shorts were jumping in, and it's a similar like almost like incremental time period.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, shorts could have been up here, and they could have been covering. That's actually a great point. Right here could have been, the reason why we popped so high is it could have been a short entering here and then a short covering right here as soon as the market started to try and reverse. So yeah, that's a great
Yeah, we
point
might
that
have
you
been
made.
looking at a different time
What time
time
frame were
frame.
you on?
I'm not sure. We were looking at it. Might have actually. It might not. I thought it was sober this morning because it definitely jumped out at me.
Yeah, it did
Um,
jump out at me too, and like I said, that's another reason why I built the car. I'll go to the 1 minute, see if we can kind of see it better. Yeah, so we had the heavy selling, but if you take it to a bigger time frame, you could see overall there was clearly accumulation down here, and then buyers just came in slapping it, and we got this move higher.
oh, that's where it was. Yeah, yeah. The move after the move higher. It's a little further to the right.
Oh, okay, so right over
Yeah.
here near the
You
VWAP.
see those three? Like, there's three that just stand out to me. Like
This
three
would
red
be one,
candles.
oh, three red candles.
Yeah, yeah.
Would it be these three right over here?
Man, I'm sorry. I
No,
thought it was
you're
sober.
fine.
We were looking at a couple tickers, and maybe I just got
We looked at
kind of.
sober. Maybe it was tops.
I don't know if we looked at tops. Did we? I thought it was. Huh. I apologize. I saw it, but that's something that I've definitely noticed how those candles can kind of help with the direction of the ticker.
Yeah. Now that we're on tops, I actually remember that I did play this one today, and I got a small win out of it, and I'm actually gonna screenshot it right here, and so I could show you
Oh, it was
guys.
BIAF. That's what we were looking at. That's the one that I saw it on. Sorry.
Let's go to that one and take a look at her. BIAF. So you had this big move up, went
Yeah, and then you see
down.
those three, like there's three red candles that just jump out at me. Those three just signify for me that it was primarily going to sell off the rest of the day. And that's, similar to
Yeah.
those green, like for
Yeah,
me.
I remember looking at this name during the day, honestly, and I remember seeing this come up to VWAP, and this is a very bearish signal. Just to go over it with you guys real quick, when a green candle goes up and gets rejected so hard that it turns into a red candle like this, it's a
Wow.
very,
Yeah.
very bearish signal. And so that is something I did notice on BIAF, and I didn't cover that earlier. But I mean, looking at the volume, it was relative to the candle. Buyers had it, and then sellers just came in and said, "Nope, not today." And then ultimately, you got your follow through on the short side.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Definitely.
Because I've definitely, I've seen. I mean, it's very, it can be not very consistent, but I've seen these tickers actually reverse. But I think, with what you just said, how it went up to VWAP and got rejected so hard
Yeah.
that it just,
It tried again here too, you see. Right over here, we tried off this hammer, we tried to push higher, and then sellers just stuffed it again, said nope.
yeah.
Like we didn't even get
And
close to the VWAP, but as soon as it went green, it just came right back down.
And there were a couple pops later in the day too that I thought it was going to reverse at those times, and
Yeah.
they popped only 10 15 cents real quick, but it just got stuffed every time hard.
Did you have a trend line drawn on it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so normally, like, I could see now, like, I obviously didn't have it drawn. I drawn it right now, and like I said, it's easier to tell now, but like just looking at it, it looks like we were just bouncing in between trend.
Hmm.
So yeah, I see that. But yeah, all these pops were like, it's probably shorts covering, and then more shorts are like nope. And then if you look at your EMA 9, look how it just guided it throughout the whole day. Like you're trading in between it. You
Yeah.
didn't really like for example, look in the morning, how you broke over it, you pulled in, you held it, and then you rode it all morning, and then finally when you broke below it, you just kind of like couldn't really break back over it and really hold over it. There's a few times where you tried, but ultimately the selling pressure was just too strong, and the buyers weren't really there to kind of prop it up and keep it there. But
Yeah.
another name like this, like I said earlier, too extended. Shorts are going to be all over it. Like even right here, you could see another very bearish signal. Every time we tried to push up, it got dumped on. You could see right here, even though even though the volume stick right here shows like there was a lot of buyers, on an advanced study like this, you could see that there was
Totally.
clearly more sellers. And then right here, there were way more sellers, and that ultimately pushed up and stuffed it down. So a lot of bearish signals, right over here. And as when you get more experience, you start looking at these things, and it becomes second nature. Like, all right, yeah. Like anytime I see one of these stocks that are moving so quick, and then we get a quick stuff candle, I'm like, all right, yeah, shorts are probably like these are early signals of shorts starting to take control.
Piling in. Yeah.
And ultimately they did take control. But yeah, and now that you brought up tops, this is actually what I traded also in the morning, and not really proud of myself. I was so worried about my P&L in the morning. I was so worried about going red, and it kind of stopped me from catching a really nice move. So in the Goblin Gang, I actually wrote in the morning that I was looking for the move to pre-market highs, and I was looking for this move higher, and I was looking for the extension. I got long right over here at 292, caught the quick move into 3. I seen these stuff candles right here, these 3 little candles, and then when we pulled back in, it literally went like 4 cents below my average. We didn't break below this line. Obviously an indication of buyers right here. But ultimately, I was so worried about my P&L like going red in the morning that I just cut the last piece for a break even, took the small win, and then it like put in the whole move that I was looking for. Like so, like just looking at it now, like I shouldn't have been so scared. Like even looking at it, we had this nice trend right here. Kind of draw that out so you guys can see it. We had this nice trend forming, and I let my I was trading my P&L basically. How they say never trade your P&L.
Yes.
So I was like too worried about going red, and it literally stopped me from catching this move. I could only get a small win off of it, but ultimately, like, looking at the volume, pulled in on really light volume, and then bam, buyers stepped in, and we got the whole move I was looking for. And I'll actually go to the Goblin Gang. I'll show you.
Yeah, it's crazy how that volume just dwindles like that so much. It's almost just like a trick. You know, like almost like they're trying to just make it seem like it's just gonna fade off, and then it just
Exactly,
explodes.
yeah. And those moves right here, these candles up here with the wicks, I was like, all right, yeah, I don't really want to get caught in the stuff because we kind of did stuff, but we stuffed into support on really like volume, and that's honestly something I failed to notice. And I'll show you right here. In the Goblin Gang, I wrote watching tops here, trying to curl off my lower zone. Grabbed some 292s, needs 310 break for the 320 test. So this was our 310, this was our 320 area. And then scaled some 306s, smelling weakness. That's when I seen these candles right here.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yup, I seen these candles. I'm like, all right, I'm smelling some weakness. And then I was like, all right, cut the rest, break even, little win. Then I'm like, yup, there goes tops.
Yep.
And we put in this whole move. I was literally sitting at my computer like, what the hell, man? Like, come on. And yeah,
Dude,
that's
that's
something.
I swear that's happened to me so many times. Literally, like within 10 to 30 seconds of me selling.
Yeah,
It's just it's almost like they know exactly like what each individual person,
it's all an
their
emotions
entry.
game.
It's insane, man.
Yeah, it's literally like this whole trade was based off emotions for me. Now that I like really look at it, like, dude, you
Yeah.
pulled back 4 cents from your average. Like, look at the low. Like, even if we came down to the lows were, I believe, I'm looking at it right now. The lows were literally 280 something right here off the open. So like realistically, I already took some profit. Like realistically, I could have taken the L, and I would have been break even, rather than
Yeah.
getting out for the small win and missing out on this whole move. So like going forward, I need to pay more attention to the volume, and I also feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like when I don't get a good night's sleep, I'll come into the market kind of like iffy. I won't come in with
Yeah.
like a narrow mind, and like I won't be able to notice these things right off the bell, and so I think that could have played a role in it. But overall, I should have noticed this volume, and I do notice it now, and like I'm literally sitting here thinking to myself like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if and I do, I take pictures and keep accounts of trades that I do, and when you go back and you look at it not in the moment, a lot of
Yeah,
times it's just exactly like what you said, like what it's clearly emotion taking over because
literally, yeah. Like looking at it now, like I can kind of see this right here. I'll show you what I'm looking at now. So kind of have this like lower trend line ascending, and then we have kind of this like
yeah,
wedge
yeah,
forming
yeah.
right here, and that's something I failed to notice. Like, wow, even looking at it now, look at this, man. We got the wedge break, and look at that wick.
Yeah.
Clean retest of the wedge. So this could have provided a low risk entry. Looking at the volume, high volume on the break, low volume pullback.
That
We
was
can move
strong
high.
through that break too. No
Exactly,
wicks.
yeah. That literally like tells you, all right, yeah, buyers are in control. Sellers are, they're not gonna stand a chance. And wow, look at that wedge, man. That's freaking clean. Holy
Damn.
shit. Hey man, you win some, you lose some. I'm glad I was able to walk out with a small win at least, but
Definitely. Green's green,
green
right?
is green.
Can't
Hell
lose
yeah,
money
but
when you're making it.
like man, if we're not winning, we're learning, right? Just like Mikey says.
Yep.
Yeah, I could have played this better, but man, that's a clean wedge. It is what it is. Moving on.
Yeah, I played tops too. I played it after that.
Oh, where did you play it?
I posted in the chat. I played it at 10:20.
Let's see. I'm scrolling up right now. I want to find your.
Yeah, I didn't play it correctly though, and I oversized on it, so I didn't want to put my stop where I should be putting my stop.
Let me screenshot it so we can pull it up over here. So you got long.
I got long on the 1 minute flag. That's the 5 minute time frame that I posted, but there was a 1 minute flag that I.
Okay, let me pull up the 1 minute
I entered
and
on.
we'll walk through that. So I assume you got long somewhere right here.
No, it was after that.
Pulled up. So
10,
right
20, 10, 21. 10, 20, 10, 21.
1021. So you got long right in this area.
Yeah.
Got that little move up. So did it work out for you, or?
No, I got stopped out at 329 for
Okay,
2
yeah,
minutes
right on
later.
the VWAP break. I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
kind of
when
see
I
the
was,
1 minute flag come in. We pulled onto our pivot, low volume pullback. And then, sellers just said, nope, not today.
yeah, but I mean, in my opinion, that is the play though to get back to 365. Like it's a setup I see a lot. Seen a
Definitely,
lot
yeah.
this month.
And, I see why you thought that too. Like, we had this, pre-market resistance, and, we came down, we started holding, we held it here. We started holding it here. We started creating that little higher low, more higher
Yeah,
lows. And so, no, I agree with your thesis. I see that. And then,
yeah. I just think I don't think I put my stop on the right spot. It should have been below the swing low, not 1 minute flag wasn't the play. It's not even a great 1 minute flag. And the
yeah,
same setup happened in pre-market too.
yeah, I see
To
that.
the open where it pops up, it pulls back on light volume, and then it gets back to where it dumped.
Yeah,
So like
exactly. I see
same
that.
setup.
But I mean, hey, the way I look at it is even though you did take an L on it, you protected yourself from this whole L by having your stop a little tighter. Granted, you could have
Yeah,
had your stop below 320, but right when we broke below 320, we started a bear flag, and we held this, or we confirmed this 320 area as resistance. Very minimal
yeah,
buying, and then sellers stepped in. So you managed risk well. I'm not gonna knock that. So I mean, good job. If we're not winning, we're learning, right?
yeah. I just didn't like the entry. I've seen that setup so many times, and I didn't play it the way I see it, the way
So
I saw it.
what was your average exactly?
Uh, 337,
337. So right
330,
in this area.
338.
I mean, eh, not really. You didn't really have a bad average, and the reason I say that is because clearly, I want to draw on this as well. Clearly, you had VWAP confirmed as resistance. It confirmed as resistance again right here. Let me just screenshot it so it's easier to draw on it. I don't necessarily think you took a bad position, and I'll explain why. Um, let me make this bigger. Right here, you have VWAP confirming as resistance. You had VWAP confirm as resistance again.
Yeah,
And then, you got the move over VWAP. You confirmed as support here, confirmed as support here and here. So, realistically, I don't think you were in a bad position at all, because this could have worked out, and it just didn't work out. You did get a move up to 370s. I hope you locked at least some in on this move up.
no, I got stopped out on the failed 1 minute flag when it pulled back.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, I
thinking you
got
got
stopped. Yeah,
stopped out right here. Oh,
that's
so you got
no,
stopped
no.
here.
I stopped out there. That's what I was upset about because the stop should have been below that
Okay.
swing low.
Then yeah, I
Stop
definitely
should be,
agree with you. You should have had your stop below, the
yeah.
clear pivot. And
But
a lot
I
of
had full size in on that 1 minute flag. I should have put half size in and then put another half when it did.
exactly, and that's actually something I like to do as well. If I was gonna play something where there's a little more downside risk, let's say I'm used to taking 1,000 shares, I'll take maybe 500 on it,
Yeah,
just so I
that's what I
can
should have.
afford, to take that L in case I have to. But yeah, no, I see. You did manage risk well though, because even though you did break below VWAP, you didn't give yourself that wiggle room, and that's okay. But the fact that you broke below VWAP, that kind of would have. So you have your flag setup, right? Your flag setup failed, the first one. So I mean, you did cut at a good spot. VWAP was obviously support, and VWAP broke, so you did cut at a good spot. I mean, I'm not gonna say you didn't. But another thing I think you could have, tried to do is Bofo always talks about on his Twitch live streams that sometimes you're going to take paper cuts before you get the right entry, and something I think you could have done was when you noticed it came back over VWAP and started to hold again, you could have taken some over here with the same risk off of VWAP, and this one ultimately would have worked out.
Yeah,
But on that first trade, I mean, it just didn't work out. Sure, if you had your stop down here, it would have definitely worked out, but now right? Give yourself a little more wiggle room.
yeah, definitely.
I want to see if, because I'm kind of noticing like a little trend here. Yeah, no, not the greatest.
The way that
Still.
one minute flag failed and it pulled back, like every time I see that setup, it does the same thing. Like it sets
So
up
if,
like it's going to go, then it pulls back, it dumps, and then all
yeah,
the
so if,
experienced traders like myself get out. Wow, that's a buy spot.
yeah, if that's something that you're noticing happening though, then next time give yourself that wiggle room.
I seen the same on the chart you just pulled up, LVTX, seen the same thing from the 26th.
That would be right over here, right? Oh no, couldn't have been
At
this one.
1355, 155, when it dumps from that spot,
Yeah,
and then it pops back up, and then it pulls back on low volume,
yeah.
and then it gets back to where it dumped at later on right at $5.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yup, how it dumped down here, and yeah. So if you're noticing
No,
these things,
no, it's not that. It's not that. I don't think.
oh, I'm sorry.
Where it dumps from down there and then it consolidates right where you got your level, right where you got your demand zone there,
Yeah,
and it pops back up and then it pulls back on low volume.
yeah.
I'm on the 5 minute time frame.
Yeah, let me pull up the five just so I could, get a better picture of exactly what you're looking at. So I see we got the move up, we dump, consolidate, then move up higher, and
Yeah, and then it dumps again on low volume, and then you end up getting that $5.
yeah. Oh yeah, I see that now. Yeah, yeah. Like
That's
if
it.
you're noticing these things, then something you should definitely do is try to give yourself a little more wiggle room. If that means taking smaller size or being a little more patient, then hey, so be it, man.
Yeah, if you just want to pull up, if you don't mind pulling up Archie note.
Which
Actually,
one
if you
was
want
it?
to pull up a smaller time frame, it could show up on a smaller time frame on SHPH from the 26th.
SHPH 26. That should be. I believe that would be this day, right?
It was in the afternoon at 12:20 when it dumps.
Right over here.
Yeah, no, up right, yeah, just to your right.
So it's up here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
See
yeah,
the
we.
dumps and then back on low volume again.
Yup, dumps on low volume, and then
The
sellers ultimately.
swing low holds, and then it gets back to where it dumped.
Yup. Yeah, I see
Seen
that.
that probably 50. Like, I see Diego call these out all the time.
Yeah, Bofo's also he's really good with these. He calls them the U-shaped recoveries.
Yeah,
And I see
you
right
shape
here,
it
we started holding
up
VWAP, some buyers stepped in, and we ultimately recovered. But yeah, this stop loss rate and hey, bring the market right back up and make new highs by a penny or so.
They're not home run trades, but like if you eventually get to the point where you can take size on those, like,
Oh yeah, they end up paying. Yeah, 100%.
yeah,
And normally, like when you are taking like bigger side, like I'm not there yet in my trading journey either, to where the point I'm not trading 5,000, 10,000 shares, but like the traders that do that, like I can only imagine what a 10 cent, 20 cent move will pay them on the day.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's really all you need. Like hit two, three of those in a row, and like you're all set.
And you
Yeah, I
see it
mean,
go on. I don't take up too much time, but just on 8 a.m. PX today too, the same thing.
wait,
AMPX.
before you,
Oh, sorry. Did you want to say
that's
something?
yeah, I was just gonna comment on those candles again and how it looked like the shorts were gonna take over. Those three massive red candles at the bottom of that U, and then
Yeah.
the buyers just came back and all those shorts covered, and that's probably another reason why it exploded like that. They all had to cover.
Yeah, I see right here at the volume, it was kind of like indecision. People were kind of like, okay, I want to get in, but I also want to start selling, but like, what's going to happen? And then
But those
ultimately,
first three, like red ones there, like how they're kind of dwindling from
yeah,
that massive red one, and then the one that's just a bar later, and then a bar later. It just seemed like shorts were trying to pile in there, but then the buying just
yeah, somebody came in and said, all right, let's go for a ride.
yeah, man. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're
Thank
good.
you.
And then I know Cosmo said AMPX. Did you say that was yeah, I see that move. I believe
Yeah,
you're
and
talking about this.
it dumps hard, starts to grind up on higher volume. It has that one pullback on low volume. It gets all
Yeah,
the way back to
this was actually a lower volume name for the whole day, I can see.
yeah.
But it did have that.
AMPX has been a hard one to trade for me, man. I got a pretty big loss on it like 3 or so days ago before the big move. It was a tricky one, man.
Yeah. Oh wow, really nice. Oh yeah, I remember this one. This was I believe Friday. Uh, I think Mikey called out the 12:55 minute flag somewhere around here and ultimately ripped to new highs. And yeah, I also see what Cosmo was talking about, how it dumped and then did the little V-shaped recovery kind of into kind of close to this, or well, it actually did get back up to its area. But wow, yeah, yeah, these are like
Yeah. Same thing on the 22nd too.
oh yeah, right over here. This is another one too. I noticed how it dumped all day and then kind of grinded right back up. So like how they
Yeah.
always say stocks have certain personalities.
Mhm.
Maybe this is the personality of AMPX.
Yeah.
Sala, can I ask you a question?
What's up, JP?
Did I pronounce your name correctly? I should ask you that first.
How did you pronounce it?
Sala?
Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah, it's usually
Okay.
Saleh, like
Sala?
SAWLEH.
Okay.
But yeah, if you can't say that, you can just call me Sal. Sal works fine.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
A question for your process on how you're figuring out what to trade in the day. I see you have the Momo scan up there.
Yep.
So are you looking the red one? So are you
Yeah.
looking at that, seeing how it sets up? Because you're not going to take something as soon as it shows up on that scan, right? You're going to
Definitely.
wait to see if there's a setup, obviously.
So, like, to take you through my morning process, I actually have a video on YouTube that like I walk it through. But like, first thing I
Perfect.
do when I wake up, this will be on pre-market, right, for my Weeble. I'll be looking at all of these morning gappers. They'll be right here, but honestly, I don't even like look at this because I'm so used to getting on my Weeble and looking at the morning gappers. From there, it'll usually be like the first 10 that are decent, and so I'll have those charted, and then I'll have a thumbnail. So normally on this chart, it's usually 4 charts like this, and I only change it to 1 because we're reviewing at the moment. But normally I have 4 charts there, and like I'll have some of the ones that I think that will give me the highest potential for a real move. I'll have them on the thumbnails, and then from there, I'll start seeing, okay, this stock's pulling into support. This stock, is also pulling into the support. This stock's making new highs, and then, for example, this scanner right here, the Chizard Momo Beast, this one will come in handy for me like around lunchtime and into the afternoon because
Okay.
the like the top gainers will all be the same throughout the day mostly, right? And then
Right.
this one will start calling out names that aren't even on the top gainers. Like, for example, PepG, it ended up coming in on the top gainers, but in pre-market it wasn't a top gainer. So then I
Right.
started seeing PepG on this, and then Mikey called
Regular
out
council
PepG, and so that's a way
to
to
review
use it.
trades in our work group.
I'm sorry,
The
what was
heck?
it?
Basmati up here
Oh, I think
Huh?
he's talking to someone in his
I
house.
think so,
right now.
yeah.
in the tin.
hmm
But
You can't have rice, honey. Come on.
T-Bone, you're on, T-Bone.
Because Noah chose not to. Of course, if I make the show, I'll eat it.
Here is T-Bone. Thank you.
yeah, I muted him for a quick second.
All right.
That gets
So
old.
I guess that wasn't him because I still hear the.
Oh,
Anyways, moving on. So like,
Okay.
if you go to my YouTube,
yeah, I'm gonna
have,
go there now.
What?
Brown's gonna be tough.
I have a video right here.
My friend
How I
used to
create
pay
watch
100
lists using the Weeble top gainers. And so this like literally walks you through my morning process. I have a few others like my strategy.
Make sure I'm up
This is
an hour before.
Supposed to mix it?
Weeble watch list, and I have one on my strategy.
Who the heck is that, man? That's so disturbing.
And then I have one on how to identify your risk and take profit areas. Like they're not like the greatest content because they're kind of old videos, but they get the point across.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are very helpful. But
Work.
Pep G, man,
I think you got good videos, man.
It's
thank
filled
you,
with
man.
hot
I think
water.
they can be better, but
Fill it all
thank you.
with
I really
crystals.
appreciate it.
Hey, babe, you don't even need to do that. Just snip this whole thing in the corner and just dump it. Yeah. Want me to do it?
She has.
All right, I'll just keep it muted for a few seconds, just so,
All right.
just in case they talk about anything private or anything,
Yeah,
But
exactly. No, I
that,
totally understand that.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, man, shout out Mikey. This Pep G trade was freaking amazing.
So
Dude.
how much are you looking at Mikey's stuff? I guess you're looking at it all day. I'm just trying to gauge like
Yeah,
how
so
much weight do I put into that? Am I already missed it already if he's already calling it, or
not
what's?
really. So not really. Like I know Mikey was calling it up here, and like it dipped all the way down to like 930s. And Mikey, the great thing about Mikey is he'll walk you through the whole trade. Like he'll tell you, I'm looking for this level to hold. I'm looking for this level to break. I'm looking for
Yeah,
this to happen. And more than likely, it'll happen exactly how it says, which like that's why I find it amazing. But like, there's gonna be days where any trader, like even me, there's gonna be days where you call something out and you get the quick move and then it just dumps. And
yeah, of course.
whoever just
Yeah,
got in it, they're at a loss, and you're either at break even or out with a small win, and that happens. It's like the name of the game. So really, like everything that's called out in Goblin Gang, I'll be honest, I don't take every trade. Like
yeah,
sometimes I'll see a trade, and for example, if there's a lot of big players on one trade, I will normally sit out on that trade for one reason. I'll sit out on that trade because I'll feel like, okay, you got one guy trading huge size, another guy trading huge size, another guy trading huge size, and then you see some guys on Twitter call it out. And to me, that makes me think like, okay, this trade is overcrowded already.
yeah,
One
exactly,
of these guys are gonna
exactly.
sell, and obviously, when you're selling big size, there's if there's not enough volume, it's gonna make a big move in price. And so
Yeah,
I'll just be like, okay, I can win on that trade, but the risk to reward is just, it's not going to be a comfortable trade for me. I'm not going to be in the trade, with the mindset of, okay, hey, let's let it work out. I'm going to be in a trade. I'm going to be on my toes and whatnot. So it really all falls in like when they call something out, I'll look at it. And if it fits something that I'm comfortable with, like I was really comfortable taking this flag. It was a clean flag. We had clean
yeah,
risk. It was all defined. It was a great trade. And all in all, it worked out. A lot of volume came in, but sometimes you'll call a trade out and it'll look good, and I just won't be comfortable taking it for the simple fact of there's too many traders on it that are trading big size, and so I'll just stay
yeah.
away. And so like
So when you see Tommy or one of those guys doing it, does that concern you because of the size he has, or?
not really, because
Okay.
and I'll kind of explain why. So like when someone is like taking, so when Tommy or Gary calls out a trade, right, everyone's gonna want to take that trade. Why? Because Tommy and Gary are calling it.
Right,
So
right.
I'll be a little more confident because there will be a lot of volume coming in on that trade. And then normally, like the point that I'm trying to get across is like when these guys call trades in the room, I'm comfortable taking them because I know for a fact they're not dumping on people. But
Right,
if I see
right.
like if I see someone on Twitter call out a trade, I'll be very hesitant to take it because I don't know who they're calling it out with. I don't know if they're already in. I don't know what their game plan is. I don't know if they're looking for a 5 cent move or a dollar move. But whereas when you
Yeah.
have someone in the Goblin Gang literally walking you through step by step, like there's no reason not to take it unless you as like a trader just don't feel comfortable taking it.
Yep. Makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
of course.
Awesome. Perfect, man. Appreciate you taking the time here.
Oh hell yeah, man. I
Yeah.
enjoy this just as much as you guys do, I
A
feel.
lot.
Yeah,
Oh,
sometimes it's good to go over it because then you can get your own mind around why you took something or why you didn't. Like that when you just showed
Definitely.
that wedge there, the perfect that apex point and the other ticker. I don't remember which one
Tops,
it was,
yeah.
but
Perfect
yeah,
freaking wedge. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, holy shit, how didn't I notice this?
yeah,
Look at this thing, man. It's picture perfect. Volume was light, ramping volume on the break, nice retest of the downtrend line, and boom, new highs. And it happens, and you can't
yeah,
knock
yeah,
yourself as a
exactly.
trader. You just got to be honest with yourself. Like I should have been in this. I shouldn't have been worried about my P&L. I shouldn't have been worried about going red. I should have added fucking more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But hey
Yeah.
man, it's name of the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. Overall, I'm okay with today. I could have done much better, but I started out red because I had some puts on SPY, and I just thought it was going to keep going, and it didn't. But I wasn't too bad on it this morning, so
Let's look
I
at
sold it pretty early.
oh wow, SPY with a big move. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I
When I
think
look at
I
SPY, I'll give you a little like I don't know if you want to call it tip, but when I look at SPY, I like to look at it with extended hours off. I don't know why. I just feel like it
okay.
gives me a clearer view, and like I see, okay, we broke. Yeah, just looking at it now, like yeah, we broke above this, confirmed it as support, put on a nice little 5 minute flag. VPA was kind of decent, and then we got that leg up, but wow,
Yeah, my
SPY
SPY
ripped.
put was from this morning, so I sold it at probably the third candle in there, the first green one,
Yeah.
right there. Yeah,
Yep.
I sold at the beginning of that one, so I got out of it at the right time. That's good. And
Yeah.
then switched my bias to long bias and just got into Netflix and some Apple as well.
Yeah. Normally when I look at SPY, and this is something I've noticed just from like I don't trade SPY, but something I've noticed when SPY opens red, it's usually gonna rip, and when it opens green, it's usually gonna
Yeah,
dump.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
something
Yeah,
I've noticed. But let's see Apple as well. Yeah, Apple opened up. You broke over initial high a day.
yeah.
Like just looking at it from a charting standpoint, resistance, support. And, we broke over here and finally got that
That's
follow
right.
through. And
Yeah, right there. We just showed us where I got in again. I got in there and right around there too again with some options and just played it out to the end of the day for call
nice.
options
Yeah,
anyway.
no, clean trade. Clean
Yeah,
trade. The trades are
it was
always the best when there's like the clean risk. Like
yeah. That's what I thought of it. Like you said, it just showed that the support became or resistance became support, so that
exactly.
was helped my confidence in that one.
Yeah, like right here and then right here.
Yep. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, very
yeah.
clean. I love those like pivots are my best friend, man. I love those.
Nice, nice.
Especially with small caps, for example. Like trying to think if there was another example. Like I mean, perfect example right here. Tops. Going back to it again. So sometimes I'll play them with extended hours off, and I'll love looking at the opening price because more than
Mm-hmm.
likely you'll break over it, and I mean you could see it right here, all resistance, and then we broke over the opening price and we held it as support, and you got follow through. That's
I
that's
think
like
that's one of my challenges is I got the gap scanners and all the scanners going too, is just narrowing down that selection. So what's happening is just getting overwhelmed with information.
yeah
And that's why I've been doing some large caps recently, just because I can. The Netflix showed up in my one of my scans for huge volume thrust, so I said, okay, well at least I know how that's gonna act,
yeah.
or more or less. But okay,
Normally
perfect then.
normally
Yeah,
you
that's
could
why I've been trying to just focus on, you know, specific tickers throughout the day, even if other things are moving, and I do end up missing a lot. But for me personally, it's like, when I bounce around a lot, it's just I feel like profits are, I just get cut up because I'm jumping, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have enough time to really focus in and get the feel for what's happening in the trade.
yeah, yeah, I get that. And another thing
I'm
that
not at that level yet where I could just pop in and within 30 seconds to a minute, you know what I'm saying? Like have
yeah,
a a thesis and all.
another thing to go off what you said is like just to add on to what you said, another reason why it's good to watch that select batch is like, for example, you'll get a move up, you'll consolidate, it'll look like the move is done, and then it'll put in another leg. For example, what's the ticker? Geez, I really have a hard time remembering tickers, and I don't freaking know why. Sober. So sober was actually a great example. So people played it right here, and when it came down here, they were probably like, "All right, it's done. Moving on to the next name." Whereas
Yeah.
realistically, the advanced, I guess you could call him an advanced trader, would be looking at it down here and saying, "Okay, we put this move in. It proved that it can do this. let's see if we get some consolidation and make that move again. And that's exactly what happened. So just to add on to what you said, like, it's always good to keep that select few on watch and to really watch them, because something like this can happen. You get that opening drive play, ends up failing. People think, okay, it's done, let's move on to the next one. Then later in the day, they're like, oh man, I was playing that in the morning, I should have seen this, So just to add on to what you said.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Did,
And I feel like I always end up just missing the move when I, hop around, and this way, I can see it.
definitely, that's another big thing. Looking at too many tickers will have you overwhelmed, man. Like, mentally too. Like, you'll be shifting from one ticker to the next, and then you'll go back to that first ticker that you looked at, and you're like, man, why didn't I just stay on this ticker? Look at the move again.
Yeah.
Believe me, man, I've been there. That's exactly why I know what you're talking about.
And it's just, it's kind of frustrating
Yup, it
at
is.
times because, I pick these tickers usually based on volume and range
Yeah.
in the morning. And then, it's hard because when, like Pep G, like that popped up a few times today. And I didn't even start looking at it until afternoon. And by that time, it's still, there was a massive move to be had. But,
Yeah.
looking at the chart, it made me think that, the move might have already been made. And I'm really just trying to focus on certain tickers and not hop around. But, it end up, sometimes it proves to be wrong,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that exactly. Like, I could see what you mean. Like, right here, people would have thought, all right, yeah, moves over. Hits their scanner again. They're like, oh, shit, okay. Then they think, all right, yeah, moves over. Another great example would be...
And that was already up, I don't know, 60 or how many percent or whatever it was. I can't remember how much it was already up. And I was like, man.
Yeah, it was up 110%, I believe. I'm sure that's from all the way up here. So down here, it probably would have been like from 6s to 8s,
Yeah.
maybe 30, 40% almost. But another example to go off what you said, like, people will see this move in the pre-market, it'll dump down, and then people will kind of think, okay, yeah, this is done. No point to have it on my
Yep.
watch list. And then it does this, and then it does this, and you're like, damn, why didn't I just keep it on my freaking watch list,
Dude. And APRN right now, I'm like kicking myself because the thing just keeps going. And I charted it out. I spent so much time on this yesterday, and it was going to be a swing trade, and it was right after I'd left my morning, because I just took a couple small trades on BIAF in the morning, and then
Yeah.
started really focusing on APRN like a dingbat on the 1 minute, and it started tweaking me out. And
Yeah.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. I gotta head out. I gotta get my kids and stuff. So, but thanks a lot for the
Of
feedback
course.
today and everything you contributed.
You enjoy your
Yeah.
time with your kids, JP.
All right, see you guys.
take care, man.
Okay, bye.
But yeah, who made like the number one thing that I'd like, even my friends, like, one of the biggest problems they have is sticking on the 1 minute. And I always tell them, get rid of that damn 1 minute, man, because
I know.
this is a freaking roller coaster. Like, up,
It
down,
is.
up, down. But then you go to like a 5 minute, oh, okay, solid uptrend. You go to a 10 minute, oh, okay, really solid uptrend, So,
And since you told me about the 10, that's, I always had the 1 and the 5 on my TOS.
Yeah.
1's for entry, but I'm focusing on the 5. And I actually started switching from the 1 to the 3, and now I got the 3 and the 10, and those are the two. And I will switch to the 1 for entry.
Of course.
But if I get into a trade, I mean, I have such a hard time looking at the 1 because it's like, one big red candle, and you're like, oh my god, I got to get out of this thing.
Exactly. Like this move
And
on
it doesn't
a
even
1,
show
you'll be
up.
like, holy shit, I got to get out. And then, you look at it on a 10 minute, it's really not that bad. You're just pulling into your support.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. But yeah, man, the 10 minute is like, it's so great, man. It like eliminates so much noise in my opinion, and it kind of just like, all right, this is support, this is resistance. Like, look for a break,
Yeah.
look for a hold, So it like makes it really, really clear and it eliminates a lot of noise. And that's honestly why I love using the 5, the 10, and like I said, on the open, 1 minute is your best friend, just because you don't want to see a 10-minute candle do this for 10 minutes up and down. You'll really be like, what the hell is going on? And go to a 1 minute, you could see what's really going on. So every time frame has its advantage. Over time, you just kind of tweak it to how you like it, and you understand what time frame works best for you. And for me, it was the 3, 5, and 10, and obviously the 1 for the open.
It is just insane to me how things just sync, like with all these time frames, like like how indicators and it's just crazy how they all still are able to sync up with all the madness that's happening. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy to me.
Yeah, normally like you gotta look like something happened on the 1 minute, you want to see it transfer over to the 3, then to the 5, then to the 10. So like on the 1 minute we started forming this uptrend. Like I'll try to see if there's a good example. So on the 1 minute we tried to form this uptrend. Then we go to the 3 minute. All right, 3 minutes. Kind of doing the same. We're trying to form this uptrend. And the bigger the time frame, you want to see the move kind of transfer over, because that gives the move more like validation. The higher the time frame, the greater the move, and the more valid the move will be. Whereas if it's just like a quick spike on the 1 minute, like the move is not going to be considered. It is valid, obviously, because it's happening, but the chances of continuation is going to be it's going to be a lesser probability, if that's even the right way to say it. But it's going to be a higher probability of the move happening the way you want if the trend is forming on a larger time frame.
Yeah. I mean, that's ultimately what got me to take that failed swing on APRN. And I just say failed swing because I just got chopped out in the morning because I put too much focus on it, when I should have just stuck with my thesis. And
Definitely,
the thesis definitely would have paid me nice, and I'm really in need of a of a good solid trade, and that would have been it. But
yeah, definitely. Like another thing you can do is like, if you find yourself getting like, I don't know, getting into your own head, as people say, try like making the computer work for you. So like what I mean by that is just set your stop and then walk away.
Yeah, I just get nervous with that because I've been, they just hunt them, man, and they, and that I'm not saying, I definitely will, do that and work on that more, but I've just been, I've been stopped out a few times, but this wouldn't have been the case. I would have been totally fine on this, but
yeah,
'cause
looking at it now, I could see like the $5 level was really solid support. I'll try to make this bigger too.
Yeah, totally. And then I started, after hours, I was just kind of idly like, looking, and I really focused on it, and I was like, man, I gotta, and then got in at 511.5 right before it popped, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like fighting myself not to sell when it did that like 5:30-ish pop in after hours. But then, because I'd planned on holding it for a couple days, but then saw it massively selling off this morning, and just got into my head, and God,
that
it
is
is
exactly
such a
happened.
kick in the groin, man.
Yeah, mental games, man. But like over time, man, you'll notice it now, and then it'll happen again to you, like no doubt. And over time you'll just start noticing it more and more, and then you start to like guide your own mental. Like there's a lot of books that actually teach a lot about it. Like I believe we were talking about trading in the zone. Volume price analysis, the discipline trader.
Yeah, I really need to get on VPA, man.
They're great books, man. Like they're great books, and I think I have them in a file here. I'll maybe,
because it's insane. I mean, for me, because I've dedicated my life to trading for these past 3 years. Mainly just this past year has been, studying my ass off and working. But like even when I sold this morning on APRN, my internal voice was like, dude, get back in. Like, you can get back in. You made a little coin, but it's just because you know, like my ego or something, where I was in at 512, just under. I'm not gonna pay 540 now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When
you
it's
got
just
to yourself.
it's stupid. But you know, dude, there's so many times that like my internal is like on point. Like yesterday with whatever ticker that was, it kept knifing to a point, and then it would run. Let me see, what was it? Yesterday, I guess it was ATXI. That's what it was, I think.
Let me
But
pull it
we
up.
don't. You don't need to look at it or anything. But it just was like, you know, the first two times that it like knifed to a certain level, my internal was like, dude, jump in right now. This is when you want to buy.
Yeah.
You know. And then it ran up, and then did it again, and then yeah, that was exact. And then the last one actually sold off the rest of the day, but it did it
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, it
You
gave you 3
know.
different opportunities to get in. Yeah. No, definitely. I see what you're saying, and that honestly, that comes down to you and your mental. You know, you just gotta, like, if you're finding yourself like to me, it sounds like a little kind of a confidence issue. Like you're seeing it, you
It
know what to
is.
take, but you're just not confident enough, and that all falls to size. So if you're oversizing and you're not confident, you're obviously gonna have the mental games, and that's like that comes to the point where you gotta size down just to prove to yourself that you know what you're doing. Like I was saying,
I
even if
mean, it's
it's
crazy. I only had 100 shares of APRN, you know, and it like that's, you know, that's manageable for me. And it's like, you know, I used to be trading, you know, 1,000 or even a couple thousand, and you know, it's I don't know. It's almost like a, you know, and it's I just need to work on it. But
yeah,
it's
it's a mental issue for sure. You just gotta gain that confidence, and that's where sizing down comes in, because once you size down and
yeah,
you know you take setup after setup after setup and it works out and works out, you know, multiple times, it starts giving you
totally.
that confidence in your own head, and you're like, all right, yeah, this happened before, it worked out, and then this happened before, it worked out, and then you know from there, once you build that confidence, you just start sizing up slowly.
Totally.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any trades or anything? We've been on here for quite some time. I think like 2 hours now. I think
Yeah,
this is
holy
our
shit.
longest
I just
review.
realized that. I appreciate your
Oh
time,
yeah,
man.
man, no problem. I
Uh,
enjoy this, bro. Like it's really fun for me.
where are you from on the East Coast?
I'm from Michigan.
Oh, you're in Michigan.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I took
I'm.
APRN. Sorry to cut you off. You can go ahead.
Oh, it's alright.
You took APRN.
Yeah,
Let's see.
after Mikey called it out, but I had my stop too tight, so I cut it, and then that thing just ran all day.
Yeah.
Yep.
I entered on the at that 10-10 candle, and I didn't want to see a break below that, and the next candle stopped me out.
Oh, somewhere in this area. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
I
Mikey
should
was
have had
on
my
this
stop.
flag.
I should have had it below VWAP. I had it way too tight.
Yeah.
It pulls back on light volume, and I get stopped out, and then it just rips.
Yeah. That's. I'm glad you noticed that. Honestly, like we didn't even have to discuss that right when you seen it. You knew. You know. You like. You identified your issue and you called it out right away. That's good.
Yeah, I usually, in hindsight, I usually find out all my issues pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah,
No, this
that's
was a really
good.
nice flag. I remember Mikey calling this flag out, and
Yeah,
I honestly didn't play it. I wasn't confident in it because like majority of the other names, you know, they gave that follow through leg and then they dumped, and so that's like I kind of came into the market today with like a little bias from the past few days, how everything was just, you know, we talked about it for 2 days on the live, like everything would come up and then dump, and so I was a little hesitant, and so I actually didn't take this one, but it did work out, and then I know both will call the flag out over here, but yeah, looking at it, you
When
definitely should have had your, you know, your stop below VWAP, because, you know, even below this pivot, this area was holding up really well, the 520 area.
yeah. I think I didn't love the EPA on the pullback, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna let this go against me too much.
Definitely.
So yeah, I just got stopped out, and then took my eyes off it, and I was like, whoa, why is this thing ripping without me right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, I remember like taking my eyes off it as well, even though I wasn't in it. And then Dom in the chat started saying, "Holy shit, you know, APRN new highs." My notifications started going crazy. Mikey's like, "New highs, let's go!" And ended up working out for everyone. But yeah,
Yeah,
definitely looking at it now, you know, I see, I see why you didn't really like the VPA. I mean, look at this candle, you know.
yeah, it wasn't like ideal VPA, but I mean, it held that pivot. Like VWAP.
Once that thing went through 550, man, it was because I was intently watching it, and I should have just jumped back in, but it just seemed like it was not gonna for me. Like it just seemed like it was gonna grind the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting for a dip, attentively waiting.
Yeah.
I also took ABOS.
EQOS, you said?
ABOS.
AV or AD?
AAB, like Bob.
Oh, ABOS. Sorry.
Yeah. But it was similar to the tops play that I had. I played the flag on it, and then it dumped, but I had swing low held, and it was just a bad play. The play on that isn't the flag, and it just grinded all the way back up to that pre-market high.
Yeah.
The exact same play. It goes up, it comes back, low volume, gets tight, and then explodes.
Yeah, that was kind of the name of the game today. Yeah. Well, I have to get out of here, guys, so I will probably do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, much appreciation.
Of course. All right, guys. It was great to review with you all.
Yeah, have a good night.
You as well, guys. Take care.
Later.